Good morning, boys and girls, and all of God's children. Welcome to the South District Church School neighborhood. I'm Sister Angie Spears, the excited South District Church School Superintendent, and our presiding elder is the Reverend Janet Jenkins Sturdivant of the South District of the Philadelphia Annual Conference. Again, we welcome you today, and what an exciting lesson we have. Our special word for today is the way. The way. And in today's lesson, it is titled Wisdom, the Way, Truth, and Life. And it comes to us from John, the Gospel of John, chapter 14, verses 1 through 14. And in this lesson, Jesus is letting us know He is the way, He is the truth, and He is the life. And Jesus is the way. He is the way to heaven. No one gets to heaven without going through Jesus. Let's take a look at our lesson today. And we are in our AME literature. And we're starting at John chapter 14. And we're going to start at verse 2. In my Father's house, there are many dwelling places. This is Jesus speaking to the people and his disciples. If it were not so, would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you? So Jesus is telling them in his Father's house, and his Father is God, there's many mansions, and he is going to go and prepare a place for us. And then he says, if it wasn't so, would I tell you that it was? Jesus doesn't lie. Verse 3, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and will take you myself, so that where I am, there you may be also. So he's letting us know he's going to come back for us and take us to heaven. Verse 4, and you know the way to the place where I am going. Thomas said to him, this is one of the disciples, Lord, we do not know where you are going. How can we know the way? Very good question. In verse 6, Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. And I hope that you'll read that entire. Our lesson is really John 14, verses 1 through 14. I hope you'll read that entire text. But let's stop right there. Jesus is telling the disciples that he is the way, the truth, and the life, and no one can come to the Father but through Jesus Christ. When I shared this story with Patches and Buttercup, they both had an example. Why don't you share your example, Buttercup? Buttercup says that he and his mom were headed to a doctor appointment on the other side of town. And his mom was rushing that day, and apparently she didn't write down all the directions. She was missing one part of the directions. They got a little lost. It was very close to the time of the appointment. And Buttercup's mom was like, she was kind of mad at herself and go, how could I have forgotten to write down all the directions? So they stopped at a Wawa, and there were some teenage boys there, but they didn't look like they would really be honest. And the mother says, I just don't feel comfortable asking them. I don't want to get even more lost. And then who pulls up into the Wawa? The postman in the post truck. And she says, can you tell me how to get to Minor Street? He goes, oh, sure, ma'am. And he told her exactly. They were only a few streets away. Make a right here, then you go to the stop sign, make a left, and then you make another right, and you'll be right there. And it worked. So it was wonderful. And one, to have someone that they could trust to ask. And certainly with Jesus, we can trust him to show us the way to heaven. Buttercup, it was Patches who had a story as well about directions and the way. He said that they were, what did you tell me, Patches? They were headed to a family reunion in Mississippi. And his grandfather was in the car with them. They were taking a road trip. It was going to take like 20 hours. And they had a nice big van with a rows of seats. Grandpa was in the back asleep. It was the middle of the night, and all of a sudden, there was no internet reception. The MapQuest wasn't working, and they were lost. It was, oh my goodness, what are we gonna do? It just stopped. There was nothing, no signals or whatever. And then Patches, his mom, said, let's wake up Grandpa. And they did. And what a great idea, because Grandpa says, I know this road. I've done this many times before they had cell phones, before they had MapQuest. And he was so right. He knew exactly where they were. He said, let me drive. And they got right to where they were going. And then later in the day, as they were driving, Grandpa says, you know what? There's a neat place. Why don't we go? There's a really neat little restaurant that I used to love stopping at. He's like, you take this exit and then you go here and you go there. Perfect. And it was fun. So it was great to have someone with them that absolutely knew the way. Wonderful, wonderful examples, Buttercup and Patches. With our memory verse, it's John chapter 14, verse 6. Jesus said to him, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. So we can trust Jesus to show us the way to heaven. Can you do this with us, boys and girls? Jesus said to him, I am the, and the, and the. No one comes to the Father except through me. Let's do that together. Jesus said to him, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. There's two songs I wanted to share with you today. And they're songs that I remember when I was growing up. One of them is Follow Me, and it was sung often by Walter Hawkins. I have a friend indeed, one who supplies my every need. Follow me, I'll show you the way to turn your darkness into day. To turn your darkness into day. And then we would add, I'll point you to Jesus. I'll point you to Jesus. It's a perfect song for today's lesson. And then there's another song. It's called Jesus is the Answer. And this one is often sung by Andre Crouch. Jesus is the answer for the world today. Above him there's no other. Jesus is the way. Can you sing that with me, boys and girls? Jesus is the answer for all the world today. Above him there's no other. Jesus is the way. Thank you, boys and girls. I trust that you will join us on next week. Our lesson is Faith and Wisdom, and we'll be looking at James chapter 1, verses 1 to 11. So we hope that you'll look at that during the week. Until then, be blessed. God bless you. Bye-bye.